You're both out. What the...
Wow. Whoa.
Hey everybody, welcome back to X's for Show, your premier media response show, and we are talking full-on Project Runway. Guys, double elimination. I'm NICO Action. I think this is one of the best double eliminations. Peak Jonah, talk to me.
Speaking of doubles, I'm Peak Jonah. You can follow me places at Peak Jonah.
And I'm TK, the naysayer, and I don't think this was a double elimination.
Ooh, we'll get into it because Tori has some similar feels. It's Tori. That's me.
Hey, and you know, whether there was actually a double elimination, whatever the drama was, I am certainly excited. I'm your producer, KEVO. Really, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment so we know what you want us to cover in the future. But for now, yes, we are covering whatever the heck just happened after a whole season of being edged. An elimination, okay. Maybe.
I have to say, do I think that all this edging was worth it? Maybe, because it did make me be like, oh, we're not going to get it. I've already seen the DP's name. Like, let's move it along. And so I think that made it extra gag-worthy. But I think they had a gag-worthy thing anyway. I don't think they had to play this game with us.
I'll tell you why I liked the game. It's because this show is so badly treated by even the production. This show is like so janky. It's one of those shows where it's trying to follow a soap opera 6 years later where none of the people are in common and like they're telling you it's the same, but it's definitely not. And so like one of the things that was really exciting about this season was it was as random as a gay teenage boy's lunchbox. Like it was just whatever is happening in there is going on and girl, get with it. I really enjoyed how stupid it was a bunch. Like this was an exceedingly stupid run up to a double elimination, but like Michelle Theroux stupid. Like a real Visage Andre Charles kind of stupid.
A new kind of stupid.
A new kind of stupid, yes. This was weird, bizarre. Did I love it? Yes. Do I actually think it's a double elimination with like the rest of you? No. They're definitely going to have them do a sewing competition to stay in the game, you know, an hour design. They love doing that kind of BS. But part of the reason why as well is we know there has to be at least one more elimination. There has to be one more episode. Not necessarily someone has to be eliminated, but or there might be a Christian save. There might be the Siriano save, and Christian just decides to save one of them, which is really awkward to be the person to not be saved.
You know, and I was actually wondering if they're going to do a previous thing, which is, you know, you get an hour to do a single design, fixture design. Sometimes they let them pick an assistant. I would love it if Belania got to pick first and picked Antonio so that Antonio and Jesus would both self-eliminate. Just for the drama. Because if Belania is like, I'd pick Antonio. Antonio's going to be like, I quit, and Nina's a bitch. And like,
Antonio absolutely is not going to quit. He's going to be like, okay, I guess I could be the one who wins. Sorry, Jesus.
You just got
my
that
turn
win.
this whole time. He is barely holding it together, the fact that he has not gotten more praise. And if Heidi was like, you can have this all now, you just have to throw your brother under the bus. That is not a metaphor. There is a bus waiting outside. He would be like, let's go downstairs
There's
right
a trolley
now.
switch, and on the trolley, it's your brother. And on the other side, there's nobody there.
There's nobody at all.
You will not go forward. You will not win.
Yep, he'd do it. So I think it'd be funny if she picked Antonio, but he would be fine. He would do it. Yeah, there's just no way this is a double elimination. I think it is. She's going to say you are both out unless you can fight the Gorgon, which is obviously a sewing challenge. But there's going to be a thing, and I think that's probably the case. The second option is that somebody gets a save, but I just don't think they're breaking format this much, especially when they also have not broken the fucking 1 day challenge formats yet again. So we're in a messy space, but I don't believe this isn't a 1 day challenge, or this is a double elimination.
I also don't know how I'm going to feel about a 1 hour non-elimination challenge in light of the fact that it has been all 1 day challenges. Now you're just making things even more exhausting.
And if I can kind of add to some of this weird jigsaw puzzle, one of the things that this season has run up against is the idea that no challenge is just its own challenge. Every challenge is like 3-4 challenges in one, which I love, especially for this show. But for anybody to go out on this challenge, the makeover, famously, for those of you who have been watching for a trillion years, let us not forget, Christian Siriano almost went home on the makeover challenge. His real girl makeover prom queen was as opinionated and powerful as he was, and deserved all of the space she got. And she gave him a run for his money. And like, so when he was walking around this workroom being like, no, fuck that. No, that's bad. Are you kidding me? And like, I understand why the queens at Roscoe's were giving him a little bit of trouble for it. But to be really honest with you, and I'm not trying to anything, again, this is one of the softest judging seasons of Project Runway of all time. This is one of the kindest seasons, and they even pointed it out. Early seasons of Project Runway, they used to just be like, this sucks, I hate it, I guess the other person wins. And like, the fact that Christian's bringing the realness, that's just preparing you in a way that Tim Gunn, frankly, embarrassingly often didn't.
Tim was a lot kinder, a lot softer, and a lot more warm to the people who kind of needed it, who were stressed, who were tired, and who were pushing themselves to the brink of creativity and physicality to get these things done. But Tim never really offered actual critique. He would only really ever say, I like this, I don't like the direction you're going. Christian at least tells them what to do. Between the little attitude and snark and the sass is actual advice peppered in. But sometimes he just, is in a sassy mood. And sometimes you are just like, okay, Christian, can you actually tell me what's wrong with this? Don't just say no. And then he's like, okay. Right. All right, I guess I have a job here. I have massive problems with this challenge for multiple reasons. Number one, this is a real person challenge, and it should have stopped at, this is a real person challenge. Give them a comfortable outfit where it is for them to go out. That should have been the end of the challenge. Why is this? And it should have been 2 days. Why is this a 1 day challenge? Why do they have to add a reveal that doesn't make any sense?
Nightlife, not even comfort, but comfortable nightlife wear. What?
And real people don't do reveals.
Real people
don't do reveals. And frankly, people who are self-conscious about their bodies also probably don't want to do a flashy reveal either. Like, that was the thing about, I forget what, Jaden. He loved his outfit and didn't want too much to be revealed of his body, and then they ended up taking points off because of what the client felt comfortable for what is a medical condition.
We're gonna get into Miss Catalina Flower about that, because that is highly contested what she put down the runway.
Miss Catalina Flower 2025 forever though. Can we just?
But there was also this weird component where all the designers were talking about their fabric choices that they went with, of like, well, it should be soft in their skin, like these different things, and it did not come up at all on the runway, and it felt like that played no part in it. So there was so much emphasis on this idea of their comfort, but then it wasn't like, you're saying this is part of the criteria, but then that wasn't even mentioned in the critiques. Half the critiques fell into 3 different parts, but this was also so weird because in so many previous
button bag
real world people challenges where you're designing for a real person, they will chide and like berate the designers for being like, this is what your client wanted, why didn't you steer them towards a better direction? They would like chastise them for not pushing more design fashion forward sensibilities as opposed to making something the client wants. And to see here that place so much more of an emphasis, I do appreciate. This should have been 2 days, and this should have just been creating a look for them.
And as somebody who
also-
does have the same condition that was on, I have eczema and I have other skin stuff, like the fact that there was not enough emphasis on, also the coat is incredibly itchy. Also, like there was not enough emphasis all around on the quality of how it actually is disabling when your skin hurts, and like they did not give enough credence to that, exactly to what you're saying.
I mean, there was a lot they didn't talk. Sorry, go ahead, Tori.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that I thought they were gonna get into it because I think VJ's was talking about how it gets worse if he's sweating, if he's hot, and then she put him in a sweater and a leather jacket, and I was like, oh no, that's gonna go very poorly, and it didn't.
A Christmas sweater.
Well, but that's even the thing.
But it was a very Christmas sweater.
VJ's and Ethan's ended up really loving their garments. So for whatever, we ended up feeling, those people at least professed they did. What I really loved is that we got the two different examples in Jesus and in Belania of the clients, Jesus fighting the client, which is always so obnoxious, whereas Belania, she thought she was listening to her client, and then there's that clip of Jewel being like, I actually don't like this. Why aren't you talking to your designer? And that is so frustrating for the designers, but you see it all the time, where I don't even feel like Belania was overpowering her, or maybe if she was, that footage didn't really make it in as much. But, she was talking to her, and she thought she was going along with what the girl wanted, and she didn't communicate that until after judgment.
What we saw on camera was Jewel saying, I kind of like nudes, I don't really like print. And Belani saying, okay, I'm going to grab silver lame, and I'm going to make you a weird disco, not quite dress, not quite shirt, and it's going to look wrinkled and crumply to the side, and you're going to like it. And then she did it.
Well, and Belani's code switching when she was talking about her frustration was like the most incredible thing I've ever seen. Belania talks very clearly, very plainly. She's got a lot of fun, when her client was like, I don't like Prince, she was like, girl, like she shut down, and like the performance had to fade for a moment and the real person had to come out.
That was also Jesus's response when his insane model, girl, stop saying everything is you of all people, stop saying everything is effeminate.
Ask for more eyeliner.
Sir.
He wanted more.
I don't think any of us here in this audience are worried about how effeminate you are, sir. We gotta stop talking about this. I sort of felt like, as you guys were talking about, the judges in other Real People challenges have said, like, why didn't you kind of steer your client in a better direction? This dude was so toxic and disgusting to me, and just Jesus stopping him every time he would say the same thing, which is that his coat is too effeminate, and just like giving him a little eye roll but still constantly working with him. I actually had a lot of respect for how Jesus worked with this guy, who they also clearly had like maybe a friendlier relationship that brewed at the start. That kind of, who knows.
It takes a friendly person to be kind about Jesus and the amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it was ugly, and he could have said that, but that's not what he said. He said it was
dialing into the Matrix.
And it was very Wonderful Wizard of the Matrix.
I literally wear what he's wearing under the coat to Ren Fair. I'm not joking about that. That's my Ren Fair outfit.
And you made it.
Not the Ren Fair one.
Oh, you made the pants.
It wasn't good, but also just constantly calling it effeminate was a little exhausting. And I really just respected at least that he did not engage with that particular comment.
He's also, the outfit is not good, but I agree with you. It's not effeminate.
No.
That's not an effeminate silhouette for the shirt.
No, he looks like Hugh Hefner fell off a pirate ship. It looks like Dustin Milligan cosplaying.
Listen, you don't want to hear this, NICO. That is what it looks like. It looks like Captain Hook from Once Upon a Time.
No, it looks like
See?
Captain Hook in a bathrobe.
He does, but I think
Where's my
they're
hook
trying
box?
to serve like Coleman Domingo
Yeah,
at a gala event.
Yep, that is what he thought he was doing, and poor Jesus, he failed.
No, it's just not.
It's not good.
It's not good.
It's not good.
And then he took the coat off
But,
and
like,
the pants.
here's the thing: is like, I get so distressed with these fashion things because in this particular thing, I understand that like we wanted to make it for the model, but at the end of the day, like, I don't know, it's a nice coat. The shirt is right for something. I don't love the shirt. That's fair, but like. I think the jacket's really fun. I think the little lapels thing could have turned into something. I think a lot of these pieces and items that they put on these people are really good items. They're just not maybe for these people, and maybe not for whatever this reveal thing is. I was very fascinated by reveal.
I'm sorry, this jacket has a dial tone. Everybody is being too kind. I can't.
I don't know.
I
like a big coat.
I do love Blondie's jackets in my favorite color, which is plaid.
I also love Burberry.
But it's not the
It's
jacket's not
not.
really new. I do want to say this to Law. I understand Law wanting an actual reveal, but that's not what this show is, and that's not what this challenge is. And Unica was kind of talking about this, like, in the mindset of Drag Race, in the mindset of drag, of, like, what a reveal is. And you're kind of expecting this kind of big... That's, like you said at the beginning, Tori, real people don't do reveals.
They don't.
So it's not... You're not going
Because like if you're going out, you like unless you're gonna do the "It's me, Grandmama Anastasia." Like unless you're doing that at the top of the stairs, there is no point during a party of multiple people that you are walking up to and greeting that you would have to be like, okay, and now wha-pam, and now wha-pam.
But even that's just taking off a jacket isn't a reveal, and as much as VJ is the only one that really got hit for that because the jacket didn't come all the way off, yeah, how many of these were just taking off a jacket? That's not the same thing as a reveal.
Well, if you take a jacket off and you reveal a different, like, style clothing, it's kind of a reveal, which is, I think, what Law was saying. Bellagio went too far. VJ didn't go far enough. And the others just did somewhere kind of in between.
It feels like they wanted like a wraparound skirt that you could just like whoosh 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 and turn it around and ooh, it's red now.
Which is, if that's what they wanted, you have to give them 2 days.
It's Violet Chachki being two different wombats.
Yes. You can't ask for a reveal in a one-day challenge, because an actual reveal, something that is innovative, special, unique, and has a wow factor, is going to take a lot of time. It also takes a lot of precision. You're not giving them enough time to be able to do that.
And you're also relying on regular people to do this. Do you know how long it takes to rehearse a quick change backstage at a theater? Do you have any idea? We will spend an entire day where I don't run anything except the 5 lines before, the 10 lines during, and the 3 lines after. And all of a sudden I'll hear, okay, we made it. And I'll be like, all right, next one. Like, it is just, you have to run it. And especially if it's just the person, they don't have help. And they're a normie who's never even like really walked a runway. So they're a little sweaty and a little nervous and a little like their hands don't work right. Like, this is a disaster. Doing a reveal is just a disaster across the board to put on a poor buckle.
And I just want to add, speaking of disasters across the board, I kind of feel like Antonio is dressed like he might be performing at Jabba's palace tonight. And it's a little too much for me that he's going to break out into Jedi rocks any second. And I'm having a hard time. But one of the other things that I actually did, I'm really serious. I did not like that he shouted over his model.
They were all a little too rowdy tonight. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but this is these beautiful models' moments. This is their moment to feel incredible, despite feeling like they've been told their whole lives that they are ugly. Or, no matter what, at the end of the day, they keep calling this the real person challenge. Fuck you! I'm an amazing real person. Call it the amazing real person challenge. but like calling it the real person challenge, it's a little weird because it sort of implies that models are some superhuman. And so like I'm iffy on that in the first place. This was an incredible opportunity for these amazing, incredibly attractive people to feel that way. And I don't think I needed someone who was on their 8th week of, national televised entertainment to take that moment from them. I do also agree. Wow, finally, Nikki Glazer and I agree about something. I do agree that it is very trying to compete with David Blaine, Chris Angel floating across a rooftop. It is. Not.
Some of that's the model. Let's not take too much. Of
I loved him on Schitt's Creek.
Yeah,
he's
a very handsome man.
Yeah.
He wishes he was Dustin Milligan.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of Chris Angel look to him.
I loved Utica's. I love the idea. I do agree the design of the coat probably could have been a little bit better, and the boobage area probably should have been fit better for her, but she loved it. If you don't have time to do like a reveal with the outfit of like change, like a quick change, doing anything with the outfit, this being the reveal, it's completely blank on the outer, and then bam, you open it up and you see the print. I didn't agree with the judges where they're like, should have been on the outside. No, that's not the point. I disagree with Law saying he should have cinched her waist in. Real women and people in the world do not cinch their waist when they're going out.
They don't. The best you get is a Spanx. The best you get is a Spanx that maybe has a little bit of itty bitty something in it.
I shouldn't say everybody. There are some people who might wear certain shapewear when they're going out, but the majority of people going out will not cinch their waist.
No, there's no lacing involved.
No, you're not. Unless you are going to Ren Fair with me, you're not getting in a corset.
And it's primarily because corsets sort of require another person unless you know what you're doing.
And they're painful.
And most people, when they're getting ready, are getting ready alone now. We don't have maids anymore, even though the buttons on women's shirts are on the opposite side of men's because we had maids for longer. Anyway!
Love that detail.
I also want to add, there's something about Law that I feel like I felt like Layla was super critical of Christian, and Detox was super aware that she might work with Christian, so she was a little bit softer, and Ethan played it very in the middle. Asshole, but yeah, great. No, mean. Love it. And I appreciated that, but Law did something this episode that I just don't think enough people are going to give Law credit for. Law is definitely an early Nina Garcia, an early Michael Kors level of aggressive judge. And I love it. I think we need more of it, and I'm a big fan. Genuinely, Law has been my favorite judge all season.
Well, he's the only one who's been there.
Truly.
Nina's been playing hooky.
Truly. And something Law said was, okay, but the client was happy, so that person cannot be eliminated. And that is because, in my opinion, Law is a stylist, not a designer. So Law is always at the mercy of what exists and their client. So I feel like Law speaking up for Ethan was saying the job is hard and you give the person credit. And like that was just like a really cool moment of professional courtesy that I just well earned and well deserved. Nobody's being kind for no reason. But I just thought that Law has been given a lot of shit online for being cutthroat. And frankly, thank God somebody's being a little bit tough, because like I'm hearing a little too, no, it was fine that it was wrinkled. No, it wasn't fine that it was wrinkled. You're going to get like $250,000. Fucking iron your shit, boy.
Is there not a steamer backstage?
I don't know, but it seems like they don't either.
And the love of my life, BJ.
The love of our lives.
She's so entertaining.
Is she?
Yes. I think she is.
Entertaining is the word they used, and I think that is a fair word. There's a lot of other words.
I think we noticed her 15 hours of work on her 15-hour garment.
Yes, the judges noticed, I think, and took into consideration the hours of work I put into it, which was they had about 15 hours to make their look, which is quite crazy.
So did everyone!
Yes. But
she's trying to make it seem like she's knit a sweater in 15 hours, which would be impressive, but she did not do that.
I wove the silk myself, and I melted the buttons, I melted the plastic to make the buttons.
She is the Madame Butterfly.
look-
The silk comes from her.
she is the silken moth. I love what she made as it was something I would wear. I would buy that immediately. But she didn't fulfill 2 of the prompts. You brought it up, Tori. If you have eczema on your or even just sensitive skin, I don't wear wool. I don't have exactly like eczema, but my skin is very sensitive. I don't wear wool because wool is itchy and irritates me. And I also don't really wear leather either because I know leather is going to be very hot and I don't want to sweat. And it's going to cause me to change. Like, for the fabric choice was weird. And I don't think the reveal mattered as much clearly as she was allowed to be in the top. But it was bizarre how in a way it felt like they kind of gloss over. She fully ignored one of the parts of the challenge. I think it was the dumbest part of the challenge, but I
reveal, yeah.
That's very nice of you to reveal.
And then, of course, we got the further information from Roscoe's that not only like he was ready to just unzip the jacket, which was literally just all that she needed for the reveal. Like, just unzip the jacket and that's the reveal. It's not a good one, but none of them were great anyway, so it would have been fine. And VJ specifically was like, actually, don't unzip the jacket.
Need to.
Don't worry about it. And it wasn't until the last of 4 takes that the production had him unzip the jacket. And it's interesting that it never comes up. I mean, it comes up a little bit that she's like, I'm not worried about the reveal aspect of things. But the degree
it's why she couldn't win. It's why she in the top she was not going to win. Even though I actually do agree Antonio did win this week.
And I will say, like, the fact that this was a thing based on skin conditions, it's another play. This is like, I knew they were going to fail at something, and they ended up doing well at Southwestern or at the Western style. It was only because they had this really interesting cross section of people for whom Western meant certain things. But like, skin diseases are really complex. Jonah, I have eczema, and I'm actually the same way. I find wool very itchy, but I've actually been told from my dermatologist it's actually really good for your eczema. It won't actually irritate the skin that has eczema. It just is uncomfortable, which, you know, are technically too like wool socks for people with eczema are really, really good.
Okay.
But you know, it's something that I've explained to my doctor. It's just like, I don't care that it's good for me. It's so uncomfortable. I will not, like, there's wool, like the socks are actually great, but
no, I can't do them. They're too uncomfortable. I can't do the Thorlos.
They're so weird. There are people for whom things like silk are not really great for your skin conditions, but there are a lot of people for whom the fabric really does not matter. It's the chemicals that it's treated with. It's what it's washed in. It's so many other processes that it goes through that I don't know what their garments go through. But this was such a weird conversation where everybody just kept like referencing soft fabrics as though that's the problem plaguing all of our skin conditions is that we don't have access to soft fabrics. Nobody ever mentions a single chemical, a detergent.
I have to use special free labeled detergents because that's the only thing I can use without getting itchy.
Exactly.
No.
What happened to these clothes before they went on the models? Not all people with skin conditions experience them in the same way. People have different triggers. So none of this stuff came up. And you know, and it's why, like, I'm not sure what happened with VJ's model. And you know, he did mention that his eczema breaks out when he sweats. Sometimes those shooting stages are kept insanely cool because it's the only way that the lights won't burn out. So maybe he was totally fine, but like, these are all things that's like kind of worth discussing because to the average person, this is just kind of a nonsense discussion.
Yeah, I'm also just noticing now, she made a sweater in green of what he's wearing right now.
Yeah. Did she trace it?
I don't know.
Doesn't matter. She's perfect.
Not
I
identical, but it's not far enough from what he was wearing that it
No,
does.
and the
end
final
up feeling
product
like,
has the zipper. It looks a lot nicer when she adds the zipper in to like be able to open up the chesticle area.
But it does feel like something
Yeah.
that she would come into the room and go, I can't help but notice that you've copied that.
Well, she owns hip cutouts.
Oh my fuck. So, all right. I want to ask a question, guys, because I don't know about you, but my least favorite part of Project Runway season 21 is, why is Ethan technically on the bottom this week? I hate this show. I wish that they would just have the End Ethan segment, because it would work just as well. The End Ethan segment would be why we explain why we can't let Ethan have his flowers till the very end of the season. And that's fine. But we are getting to a point where they're every week like, Ethan, you're on the bottom. Ethan's not really on the bottom. We're just pain edging him. So, Ethan, you're fine, but you suck. And it's interesting because he gave a little bit of insight on Roscoe's this week, where he talked about how he actually got really positive comments from everybody but Heidi, which is great, because I do think his look was terrific. It maybe had a little bit of like brown cow stunning to it, but I still thought it was great. I feel like one thing we see a lot is on Project Runway Classic, there is always a great designer that they hate on full time, and that person's going to get to the finale full of rage
And not win.
And unfortunately, Ethan is starting to give dragged to the finale vibes despite doing really well. And so hearing Ethan give, it's actually different when you're there, as a response has been really helpful to hear.
It's really interesting that you say that, because I think that this is the more transparent version of judging compared to Drag Race. Drag Race, we never really understand the rubric. In this one, I feel like there is a rubric, and I feel like each judge fills it out and is kind of given the same weight, so that if it does so happen that it's 10s across the board and then Heidi's a 2, it's gonna drop Ethan. And so to me, I think this is the point where Ethan has to like click in his brain of just like, if you're not in the top, you're in the bottom kind of deal. And it's just, I actually think it's about how close Ethan is to the other 2 people in the top or the 2 people in the bottom, whether or not it goes. Or it could just be straight up, we're going to put him in the bottom anyways because it's good TV. I don't know. But I think that this is, I understand more why the placements shake out the way they do, because it's easier for me to understand. Like, I don't know what the rubric is, but I know that they're all grading with the same like scale, and so that sort of feels that way to me.
There's usually more objective criteria of, if the prompt was X, did you reach X? And it's a little more quantifiable in the fashion world than drag, even though fashion is art. It's a lot easier to judge and critique on rubric compared to drag, where, it also does not help that Rue and Michelle are at the whims of themselves of whatever, however much coffee enema Rue has had that day.
Right. And at the end of the day, even if we're judging on a design challenge, drag in itself is still a performance art. It is not the runway. We call it a runway, but it's really show me what this character is, what this version of you in this dress is, as opposed to this, which is very much, we've moved away from the idea of models as strictly coat hangers for a very long time, but there's still that kind of vibe to it, that we really are watching art that happens to move, as opposed to art that has a spirit that you need to decide if you're going to judge the spirit.
Yeah, you know what? That's even a really great point as to why I think Heidi leaving for 2 years actually has kind of devalued Heidi's overall superpower on this show in a really important way. Because when it is the whims of Rue and Michelle, it's the whims of Rue and Michelle. But here, it's not the whims of any one person, because the designers aren't walking their own looks. There's only usually one of those a season, and we haven't had one of those in years. So though, would you die if the final is designed for one of your fellow designers like it used to be? So,
I mean, I feel like maybe they spoiled that for everyone because there's been Ethan in a beautiful green beaded dress in the intros for a while.
It does have Ethan written all over it.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping
I mean, he's in the dress too.
Here's where I'm at with this season. I really thought Melania was going to the end. I thought Jesus was going to the end, and I thought Ethan was going to the end. But I'm currently in a position where I don't believe that my math can math. So, I personally feel Antonio needs a little bit more time to grow. Some of his behavior on the runway has maybe thrown me off a little bit. And anybody can feel any way they want about that. I just think he's come off very childish at times. You don't yell at the judge. Also, when Christian said, "I'm young and cool," and this is not, and the model said, "I'm younger and cooler, and I would wear this."
No, Jesus said
No,
that.
Jesus
said that. Well, Jesus, that's insane to say to a person whose cool factor has made them a millionaire many times over, and you're your second time on a 3 times canceled reality show, hoping someone will pick you up. So let's really be careful when we're being rude to the people who are in charge. I'm not saying worship power. I'm saying there is a certain way that you look like an idiot because you're demanding respect while talking down to other people. Very little makes me respect you less than giving no respect. I think that people have misread Melania. I think that there is something to be said about a quiet young black woman not emoting the same way that you see the quintessential white male reality competitor. And so I am here to give Melania a lot of grace. I think the only guaranteed shoe-in for the end, that if he doesn't make it to the end will become like a judge next season, is Ethan. I think Ethan is the only thing that is definitely a guarantee. So I would love to know where you guys are at. We're winding this season down. Also, I agree, Matthew, Christian's Capri Sun pouch purse is so cool. It just
adorable.
Makes me just want to pop the straw, you know? So
do it myself.
Talak at me, guys. What are your vibes on this season, and how do you see it? How do you see it settling down and winding up?
So we know we have one more challenge that could end in elimination. I think they're pulling a stunt, and I appreciate that they didn't wait till the beginning of the next episode to show us the stunt that it's a double elimination. Whatever they do, I do believe we are going to have 4 people going into the next challenge. Whether that's 4 people in the final runway showcase to make a collection, remains to be seen. Who knows? I will say, I think at this point, Ethan is guaranteed to be there. I think by now, if VJ is not going to do part of the prompt in any way, shape, or form and allow it to continue, I kind of think VJ has to be there. I really wanted Melania there, but I do think she might need a little more time to cook to really figure out her full design aesthetic and design sensibilities. Even though she is learning, she's great, and she created some really amazing pieces that I love that she sent down the runway. She might need a little more time to bake. I do think, in my prediction, I'm not a spoilerina, I have no idea what will happen. I think Melania is going to go home, and then next week they're going to put the twins against one another. Because if you have a pair of twins, you have to put them against one another. You are legally obligated in a reality show competition style to put them up against one another. And they have not so far not done that. And so I think both of them are going to be facing elimination. And for my money, Jesus is the better designer, so I think Jesus will make it to the finale.
I really love that, and I love that you said any shenanigans might eliminate one of them, because it made me realize that they might have the other 3 vote. They might have Ethan, VJ, and Antonio vote, in which case I guarantee you Jesus goes home. Because he's going to get 1 vote. To stay. Tori.
Really? You don't think... I think Ethan has a soft spot for the twins.
I think Ethan sees an underdog in Melania, and after being cast aside by a reality show and seeing Jesus given a second chance to come back, I think he might say the Estrada brand is strong. The Estrada brand is already available. Melania does not have this level of stage, but now Jesus has himself on 2 seasons of this, Antonio on 1 season of this, and their brotherhood to create an identity. Melania is another Project Runway loser. And so I feel like the Bob Ross snatch game in Ethan may protect Melania like a magic spell.
See, and I think that he would say, honey, sometimes it's better not to take what the golden handcuffs they're giving you.
Oh, tell me, sing it.
So like it's the oh no, poor Kelly Clarkson part of it. I don't know about you, but I'm hearing a lot of crap about the CFDA these days, and I feel like perhaps what they are offering the winners of this is not as shiny as it used to be. And I think that there might be a certain amount of, oh my God, we loved you. We can't believe that you got removed before the finale. Goodwill that comes from being the shunted one. I think Joseph McCrae might have eaten a lot of that, but there's always room for another. And I think if it came down to a vote, I think Ethan would keep Jesus.
Miss Joan.
Well, he sent Miss Joan home. He wrote her name down.
She got a video montage, but I really love your perspective. Oh my God.
Yeah.
She's still with us. She's still with us. I'm joking.
Oh.
Yes, she's still with us.
We didn't produce it.
I think I agree. I think it's more interesting to have the twins go head to head for one of them to get to the finale. I think I did not know that there was a last minute, the two of you can, whichever of you can make a shawl faster gets to stay kind of challenge thing that could happen. I was only aware of Mr. Siriano's magic. So I was I basically saw this and I went, that was crazy. And 5 minutes later I was like, Christian's gonna save one of them and it's gonna be Jesus, because there really is no reason for Jesus to get knocked out at this point.
No, he's been killing it
Truly.
the entire competition up till this week.
Right. And it seems like Project Runway doesn't love to let go people who have been doing extremely well just because they did poorly on a very strange challenge. But I don't know enough.
No, they're never going to make another Austin Scarlett. I don't think they've actually made an Austin Scarlett-sized mistake ever again.
So wear that red letter A, everybody. So I think it's gonna come to, thank you, Kevo. That was
I got
good
it.
literary joke.
No, it was full on.
It was an easy A. I think it's gonna be Jesus, Ethan, and I guess it's gotta be VJ at the end. I guess that's our trio for the finale. That's my read.
I genuinely love it. Like the 3 heads of Cerberus leading us to hell. This is some perfect ugly reality finale. TK, this is your second live proper season, but it's your first good season. So I'm really excited for you that you've had so many incredible designers, but we've lost some of the really good ones. So what are you surfing to this finale? What is your boogie board?
Well, and I don't know. Is it a good season? It's a different season of a really different show.
No, it's good.
No, I mean, I like it. I really do like it. But we've talked a lot about some things about it that are really different than other seasons. And this one day challenge thing is driving me nuts. I think we're on our way to get our first and only more than one day challenge coming up for the finale. And so I guess I'm looking forward to that. I mean, it does seem like it's Ethan, VJ, and Jesus, but who knows? Anything is possible. It might be really cool to just do a top 2. It seems like we're at a point right now where this show could introduce a bunch of elements for its finale that are different from stuff that's happened previously, because it's just doing different things. So, I'm here for it. I've got an open mind and an open heart. would love to see this, this is going to wrap up, and I would love to see them take some of the lessons learned from this season and make a season that finds a nice medium between what they were doing before and something like what they're doing now, which I will admit, I think probably does feel a lot more accessible for a new audience and a very second screen audience. So I'm excited to see where it goes. At this point, I sort of, with the exception of the fact that I root for Utica because I am a drag race person first and foremost, I sort of don't care what happens. They're all great. They all worked really hard. Everybody's really talented. Everybody suffered through these boot camp 1-day challenges all the time. I just want them all to be happy, and I want somebody to, feel really great at the end of it. But I'm really excited for what this means for the show as a whole and what's going to happen going forward with the production of the next season of Project Runway.
I love that perspective, and it's exciting because as somebody with a newer perspective on the show, not like obviously like brand new, but like with a newer perspective, it's really fun to contrast that with KEVO. You've been there with me through all of the Michael Kors seasons, and we know that we have a Michael Kors episode coming up. Talk about devaluing a brand, but I'm really excited to. I'm not the one who filed the suit, so I would really love to know, KEVO, what are your takeaways as we barrel down to the end of this season?
I really love what everyone has said so far, especially a lot of the stuff that TK has said about the changes and them being very strange and us not really knowing how to adjust to them. And I think for me, a lot of how I'm going to feel about this season being so strange will be what comes next. I really loved you saying a 2-person finale. That would be such a change up from everything that we've seen so far. And I guess the one thing that would most justify this weird experimental season for me is to continue experimenting. I don't know what that would mean for a second freeform season. If that don't mean a full season of teams again, I don't know.
Please.
But if we could continue doing experiments perhaps then and shaking up what we are doing season by season, that would make this season being so odd more rewarding. But frankly, if one person stays and the other person goes home next week, that is kind of what we're expecting. The shakeup would be cutting both of them before the penultimate episode. So who knows what'll happen. I'm excited either way, and I've really enjoyed covering this season so far. And next week we have Tyra as a guest judge. So strap in.
And KEVO, I do want to say that one of the things that I really love that you kind of just brought to the table is I would love to see a season of all-stars plus newbies. So it's like Project Runway mentors, and a classic designer comes back and gets an up-and-coming designer, and they work in teams, and Zulima make them do a model walk-off style. You can steal somebody's apprentice. Swear to God, Shatangi. So, season 2 shit.
Or Stella Bizatis. Is she still with us? We need some leather.
And made of leather. Speaking of people that are still with us, Jonah, if everybody wants to be with you and find out more about you, where can they do it online?
You can find me online begging the producers to let them have 2 days challenges. My God, those designers are exhausted.
They look
Online
sleepy.
at Peak Jonah. It's Peak. Tori, where can everybody find you?
You can find me online at SM Tori. That's Tori with an I.
Ugh, I love the both of you. Speaking of people I love, KEVO, where can everybody find your crazy cool face?
You can find me at KEVO Really. That's KEVO
And why? Because we love TK. TK, tell me, where are you not accidental? Where is it TK on purpose?
Nowhere, never. It's only accidental, and that's on all the socials. TK Accidental. Last but not least, where are you, NICO? Do you make music? Do you do other things? What's the show? What's happening? Tell us everything.
Yeah, what are 3 things we should do?
You guys
He makes
definitely...
music.
I make music? Well, that's at Nico Action Music, NICOACTIONMUSIC. If you guys want to find out more about me, that's Nico Action, NICOACTION. However, the thing I really want you guys to do is I would love you guys to like, comment, and subscribe on our feeds here. That's X is for show, X is for comics, X is for podcast, HTML, the Billy Club, and more. We love you guys. We think you're incredible. But 3 things you guys can do for yourselves. Number 1, please stay safe. It's a crazy world out there. Number 2, please be brave because we want to see you guys keep being you. But number 3, it's evolve daily. Who you were yesterday, incredible. Who you are today, amazing. Who you are tomorrow, that's the person we can't wait to see. So until then, hopefully that was enough time for KEVO to get it together and we can end this Mama Jamma. Peace.